Football is a challenging game.
He's missed a lot of games. How many games? 5, 6 games? He's been banged up a lot, not 100%.
Today, we're breaking down every NFL team's biggest problem in 2025. So, let's dive right into it. Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. The rebuild that looked so promising just a couple of years ago, well, it's completely stalled before it ever really got going. The Cardinals have been a mess this season, and the rumors around their dual-threat quarterback are swirling fast. Unfortunately, it'll be tough for them to find a real trade partner because of his crazy contract. Atlanta Falcons, two almost franchise quarterbacks. The Falcons have two quarterbacks who could be franchise guys, but neither one has seized the job. Michael Penix has shown flashes of promise, but remains inconsistent and can't stay healthy. Kirk Cousins has the resume and the contract, but fumbled the opportunity as well. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar's health. Lamar Jackson left his most recent game with a back injury, and that is just the latest in a long line of concerns this season. 2025 is looking like a wrap for Baltimore. Buffalo Bills, no wide receiver one. Josh Allen is putting together an MVP caliber season. He's also doing it without a true number one receiver. They're winning games, but opposing defenses are sitting on short routes because there's just no deep threat to respect. Carolina Panthers, Jekyll and Hyde. The Panthers are the feel-good story of the season with their shocking run toward an NFC South crown. But they're still far from a safe bet week to week, as this young team seems to have sides to it. One scrappy and ambitious, stealing wins that they seemingly had no business getting, and another that looks lost and ready to blow it at any given moment. Chicago Bears, penalties. The Bears have clinched their first playoff berth in 5 years. The concern heading into January is going to be discipline, though. They're beating themselves with penalties at the worst possible times. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow wants out. Joe Burrow missed significant time this season with a turf toe injury, and when he returned, well, he started saying things that made Cincinnati very nervous. You know, asking about playing for another team one day. Cleveland Browns, the eternal rebuild. The Browns are in full rebuild mode again. They're on yet another quarterback, dealing with major injuries to key players, and the offensive line, well, it's been a disaster all season. This is their 16th losing season in the last 18 years. Dallas Cowboys, historically bad defense. The Cowboys have had one of the best scoring offenses in the NFL. They also have had one of the worst scoring defenses. All of that offensive firepower is just being wasted because the defense can't stop anyone. Denver Broncos, inconsistent offense. The Broncos are playoff bound, but the offense has real questions to answer before January. Bo Nix has been impressive, but inconsistent. There are some legitimate concerns about his footwork and accuracy that are popping up week to week. Detroit Lions, defensive woes. The Lions were Super Bowl favorites entering the season, and now they don't even control their own playoff destiny. Defense has been the biggest issue. They are not getting pressure fast enough. They're giving up far too many big plays, and the injuries on the offensive line have not helped matters. The window that looked wide open just a few weeks ago, well, it is officially closing fast. Green Bay Packers, injuries all over the map. Jordan Love is in concussion protocol. Malik Willis is also banged up. Micah Parsons, who they acquired from Dallas, tore his ACL and is done for the year. In about the span of a week, the Packers collapsed from the 2nd seed to the 7th seed in the NFC. Houston Texans, offensive production. The Texans started the season looking lost and are now on a major winning streak. The offensive line protection remains a concern, and Houston is winning, but they're not winning convincingly. And the offense is the culprit here. Indianapolis Colts, freak QB injuries. The Colts started 7-1, but it has all started to just fall apart. Daniel Jones tried to play through a broken leg like a madman, then tore his Achilles. His backup, Anthony Richardson, suffered an orbital fracture in a freak locker room accident, so now they're leaning on Phillip Rivers at 44 years old, who came out of retirement in order to start. Which, I don't know about you, but this just feels like another injury just waiting to happen. Jacksonville Jaguars, declining run game. The Jaguars are on a major winning streak and have played themselves right back into the playoff picture. The main concern? The ground game is fading at exactly the wrong time. Kansas City Chiefs, the dynasty collapse. Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL against the Chargers. Chiefs will miss the playoffs for the first time in a decade. This is their first losing season since before Andy Reid arrived. Not to mention that the retirement rumors around star tight end Travis Kelce have really started to heat up. Las Vegas Raiders, complete organizational disaster. Hey, stop me if you've heard this one before, but the Raiders have been an absolute mess this season. They are dead last in scoring, and the defense is almost as bad. Then throw in the Tom Brady and Mark Davis ownership chaos, and, well, it's no wonder that this team always seems to find its way to the very bottom. Los Angeles Chargers, offensive line injuries. The Chargers clinched a playoff spot and eliminated the Chiefs from contention. So what's the problem? Well, protection. Their injury report has been a mile long, and they've lost Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, who are now both out for the year. No wonder Justin Herbert's under constant pressure and there's such concern about this team's prospects come playoff time. Los Angeles Rams, special teams, and pressure dependency. The Rams' special teams have been a problem for years now, but now the defense is starting to look like a one-trick pony too. They're elite when they're generating pressure, but when they're not getting to the quarterback, well, they completely collapse. Miami Dolphins, Tua benched with dead cap trap. Tua Tagovailoa has been benched and demoted to third string behind 7th-round rookie Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson. That wasn't bad enough. Tua is now expected to be released after the season, and cutting him before June of 2026 triggers a $99.2 million dead cap hit, the largest in NFL history. Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, historic struggles. J.J. McCarthy has been historically bad this season. We're talking about some of the worst efficiency numbers that we've seen from a young quarterback in decades. There have been one or two bright spots, but on aggregate, his decision-making has been very poor. New England Patriots, Drake May taking hits. The Patriots have been one of the biggest surprises in football this season. New England is winning, but they're winning with their franchise quarterback absorbing punishments, and, well, that is not a sustainable path forward. New Orleans Saints, still in cap hell. The Saints had another terrible start to the season and were eliminated from the playoffs early, which honestly has kind of been the status quo in NOLA. And looming over everything is the salary cap situation that has plagued this franchise for years. Have to wonder if Kellen Moore is regretting stepping into the spotlight in the Big Easy as their head coach. Look, there's only so much that you can do if you can't afford to build a competent roster. New York Giants, Jackson Dart just won't protect himself. The only positive from the season has been rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, but he too struggled to stay healthy and has been resistant to the idea of better protecting himself by changing his play style. New York Jets, historic awfulness. The Jets started the season losing, and it just never got any better. They traded away multiple All-Pro players, sending Sauce Gardner to the Colts and All-Pro defensive tackle Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. The Justin Fields experiment was a complete disaster, and his running mate at Ohio State, Garrett Wilson, is now out for the season. There's just nothing good to say about this team other than the draft capital that they've stockpiled. All Jets fans have to hope for is that they actually make some good picks this year, because this thing is a mess from top to bottom. Philadelphia Eagles, passing attack collapsed. The Eagles have clinched the NFC East, but there are still major concerns in the city of brotherly love, primarily around their offense and the collapse of their once elite run game. A lot of the same pieces are in place, but they just don't look the same. Pittsburgh Steelers, TJ Watt's health. TJ Watt has been the heart and soul of the Steelers for almost a decade now. So, needless to say, his partially collapsed lung has to be a major concern. San Francisco 49ers, star-studded injury list. Brock Purdy was in and out of the lineup this year. Nick Bosa had ACL surgery. Fred Warner is on injured reserve. Brandon Ayuk is on the reserve list. And now it looks like he's on his way out of town. Seattle Seahawks, offensive line can't run block. The Seahawks are looking like one of the best teams in the NFC, but there is still cause for concern. Seattle cannot generate a reliable push up front, and that might come back to bite them come playoff time. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield collapse. Baker Mayfield was an MVP candidate through the first 7 games. But since then, everything has just gone wrong for the former number 1 overall pick in his squad. His decision-making has faltered, and the team just can't buy a win. Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward getting destroyed. The Titans drafted Cam Ward first overall. So, you'd think that, hey, they'd want to protect that investment and put him in the right kind of position to succeed and develop into the franchise quarterback that they expect him to be. But instead, they've completely neglected their responsibility in that process. Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels shut down. Jaden Daniels played just 7 games this season due to a litany of injuries. Now, he has mercifully been shut down for the final 3 games. But perhaps even more concerning is that, well, he just didn't look like the same guy that he did as a rookie. Oof, talk about a sophomore slump. But hey, what do you think is your favorite NFL team's biggest problem right now? What do you think we're right on here? What do you think we're wrong about? Was there anything that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you guys next time.